Two of the best mid-range phones up against each other, the HTC One Mini and the Sony Xperia SP. Now where will be the best place to watch this? Oh yeah, ask Corie. Hey, what's up guys, my name is Corie and this is the Sony Xperia SP versus the HTC One Mini. Okay, so let's start this off with the design. Now, design wise, both phones are well designed. You will not be let down by getting any of these phones if you're just getting them based on the design. But what really separates them? Now, let's start with the HTC One. Okay, so the HTC One Mini has that same aluminium material which you find on the original HTC One. The main difference between the HTC One and the HTC One Mini is that the volume rocker is now separated and the polycarbonate material which goes around the phone is a bit more thicker on the HTC One Mini. But saying that, it looks exactly like the HTC One, the same aluminium material, the same boom speaker on the front, so it looks exactly like the HTC One. So now let's have a look at the phone itself. So at the front of the phone you have a 4.3 inch HD screen, that's 720p. You also have the boom speaker at the bottom and at the top as well. That also features the front facing camera and the two sensors. At the back is where you find the full ultra pixel camera with the LED flash above it and the HTC logo at the bottom. On the right hand side is where you find the volume rocker, which is now separated as I said before, and then at the bottom you have the mic and the charging port for when you're ready to charge up your phone. And then on the left hand side is where you find nothing except the SIM tray where you put your SIM card in. As I said, you do have the two capacitive buttons on the phone. One is for home and one is to go back. If you double tap the home button, it will show you all the application that is open so you can navigate between the application. At the top of the phone you have the volume rocker and you also have the lock button as well for when you're ready to lock the phone, or if you want to switch off the phone, you press and hold it and it will give you the option to restart the phone or switch the phone off. As you guys can see as well, also at the top it does not feature the IR blast off, so you can't use the phone as a remote like the original HTC One. But saying that, everything else in terms of the design is exactly the same. In the other hand, we have the Sony Xperia SP. The SP has a polycarbonate material which you only find at the back of the phone. This enables you to remove the back so you can then add your micro SD card to expand your storage when you need to. At the front of the phone it's made up mostly of the display with a more solid feel and look, just like the Sony Xperia Z. The SP stands out even more from the crowd because it also features the illuminated notification strip at the bottom of the phone, which changes colors depending on what type of notification you get. So if you get a text message, it flashes blue. If you get an email, it flashes purple, etc. This feature also works when skipping through media files such as music and pictures. So the fact that Sony can integrate their design with the functionality of the phone, it really does say a lot to me. It just shows that when it comes to designing a phone, they really look at what they can do with the functionality as well. Now let's have a quick look at the phone. So at the front we have a 4.6 inch display. At the top it features the front facing VGA camera, the two sensors and the earpiece as well. At the very top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack for when you're ready to listen to your music. On the right hand side is where you find the three physical buttons, the volume rocker, the Sony well known power off and on button, and Sony's dedicated camera button as well. At the bottom you find the notification strip, and then at the left hand side is where you find the charging port for when you're ready to charge up your phone. At the back we have the 8 megapixel camera with the LED under it and also the speaker grill next to it as well, and a Sony Xperia logo. Don't forget that the design also has an effect on the weight of the phones as well. The Sony Xperia SP weighs in at 155 grams while the One Mini weighs in at 122 grams, making it 333 grams between them. So overall, when it comes to the design, both phones look and feel great. I don't think you will regret getting any of these phones. considering Sony and HTC does make some of the sexiest smartphones out there. So another area that I found it hard to choose between these two phones is the display. So the HTC One Mini is rocking a 4.3-inch display with the resolution of 720p, that's HD but not full HD. It's also rocking the Super LCD 2 screen which produced 342 ppi. So the display is not as bright as the original HTC One, but it still does hold it up. One of the best that I've seen on the mid-range phones anyway. It's also said to be higher than Retina display, which you can find on a number of Apple products such as the iPhone 5. So if you think the iPhone 5 looks good in terms of the display, then you will love the HTC One Mini. Speaking of love, there's no reason why you wouldn't love the display on the SP. Why? Because the SP also comes with the same 720p resolution display, but it has a 4.6-inch display with the PPI of 319. It also has a TFT screen which is backed by Sony's Bravia Engine 2, which brings down noise and saturation but at the same time enhances colors and gives you an excellent quality picture. So you can see that Sony has done a lot when it comes down to their display. Just imagine carrying around a Sony TV in your pocket all day. It's that nice for a mid-range phone. In terms of screen protection, the SP comes with the Corning Gorilla Glass, while the One Mini comes with the up-to-date Gorilla Glass 3. So I guess it's safe to say that both phones are great in this department, in the display area. The PPI on the HTC One is slightly higher because due to the fact that the screen is smaller. So don't be put off by this. Both phones are excellent technology for mid-range users. Performance wise, both phones are looking good under the hood. The HTC One Mini has a 1.4 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 dual-core Corie processor on board. This enables the phone to run smooth with no noticeable lag or stutter when navigating around the phone, not even when you're undertaking big tasks. The Mini also features the Adreno 305 GPU, which produces great gaming experience. I will have a link in the description for you to go and check out the review of the gaming experience on the HTC One Mini. The Sony Xperia SP is not at all lagging behind when it comes to the performance. It also features the dual-core Corie processor clocked at 1.7. What does this mean for you? It means you'll still get a very good experience when it comes to the performance on the phone. Saying that, it does have a more powerful GPU than the HTC One Mini. It's running the Adreno 320 GPU, so excellent gameplay you will get on this phone with no problems. Both phones of course is running Android. The HTC One Mini straight out the box is running Jelly Bean 4.2.2, while the Sony Xperia SP is running 4.1.2 straight out the box, but it will be upgradable in the future. Not sure on the exact date, but it will definitely be upgradable in the future. Now let's check out the hardware on the phone. So on both phones you get the standard connection, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and you also get the option to do some mobile tethering, so you can use your phone as a mobile hotspot on both of the phones. What does separate these phones though in the hardware section is that the HTC One does not support NFC. You can find it on the Sony Xperia SP, but on the HTC One Mini it does not support NFC, so that's the only downfall in terms of the hardware. Saying that though, both phones are very good when it comes to multitasking. The HTC One features a 1.5 gig of RAM available for multitasking, while the Sony Xperia SP features 1 gig of RAM available for multitasking. So multitasking on both phones will be fairly smooth on both of these phones with no problem. The HTC One Mini is also great for music. Just like the HTC One, it features the Beats audio amplifier. So if you're into your music, this is probably one of the best phones to get. I'm currently using the HTC One and I love it for music, especially if you already have the Beats headphones as well. They go together nicely and the sound quality is nice, especially when you listen to your music or if you're playing games or watching any type of media files on your phone. In terms of the battery, the HTC One Mini is rocking a 1900 milliamp battery, while on the other hand the Sony Xperia SP is rocking a 2370 milliamp battery. And I've said this in my previous video before, I believe the battery in the Sony Xperia SP is a high-end phone battery. Now both of these batteries are not removable from the phone. That's the only downfall in terms of the hardware about these phones, is that the battery is not removable. But in terms of the battery, you'll definitely get a full day's usage out of both of these phones with no problem. And last but not least is the camera. So in terms of the camera, the HTC One Mini packs the same full ultra pixel camera which you can find on the standard HTC One. They haven't taken away any of the features from the camera section on this phone when you compare it to the HTC One. So you get the same Zoe feature, you get all the standard filters and stuff like that which you can find on the standard HTC One. So in terms of the camera department, the HTC One Mini is probably one of the best mid-range phones camera that I've come across this year. The front-facing camera on the other hand is a 1.6 megapixel camera. So in terms of Skype calls or any type of video calls you may do, this camera on the HTC One Mini is very nice. With the Sony Xperia SP, the front-facing camera which you can find on the phone is a VGA front-facing camera, not the best for your Skype calls or any type of video calls, but it's still very decent. The rear camera which you can find on the SP is a 8 megapixel camera which does capture some very nice photo. Again, I'll do a video showing you guys the picture quality from the Sony Xperia SP. But overall, in terms of the camera on both phones, they are very good. For me, I would probably prefer the 4 ultra pixel camera on the HTC One Mini. For some reason, it just looks much more sharper to me when taking pictures and doing any type of video recording. But I'll leave that for you guys to decide once I upload the camera test between these two phones. One thing I did forget to mention is the storage. So in terms of the storage on the HTC One Mini, you get 16 gig of storage built into the phone and the storage cannot be expanded. On the Sony Xperia SP on the other hand though, you get 8 gig of inbuilt storage and then you can add a micro SD card up to 32 gig. So there you go you guys, a quick look at the Sony Xperia SP versus the HTC One Mini. Let me know what you guys think of these phones. Which one do you prefer? Let me know the reasons why. Leave all of that good stuff in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.